Mighty Oaks wrap up the regular season as SUNY ESF welcomes the Hornets of SUNY Broome to Jim Boeheim Court. Hello everybody, Will Henschel alongside Anthony Vasquez, courtside in Syracuse as ESF looks to take a season finale win on ESFTV against the visiting SUNY Broome Hornets. And it's shaping up to be a good one. Tonight's a special night for ESF as they honor all the graduating seniors and what could arguably be called the Mecca of college basketball. But SUNY Broome, an historic program dating all the way back to 1947, their first time playing under the dome roof. And Anthony, they want to play spoiler tonight. What are some of the keys they got to take into this one?
That's right. We talked to the head coach, John Frederick, earlier. He said the keys to the game, winning the rebounding battle. That is going to be important, and that starts with Jalen Pitts. He averages 12.5 boards per game. He is going to be the big man in the middle, the 6'5 sophomore. Another thing, transition defense. That is going to be so important in this game. If the Hornets can basically keep up with ESF's pace both offensively and defensively, that is going to be huge. And finally, getting paint touches on offense. And I don't mean to be a broken record, Will, but it's going to have to start with, once again, Jalen Pitts. He averages 10.5 points per game. 50% from the field. He doesn't take many threes. He's only 1 of 3 from deep. He is going to have his hands full, though, with Reed Patchett.
Yeah, he doesn't take many threes, but he absolutely makes up for it in his field goal percentage. He's shooting over 50% when he gets into the key. But on the other side of the court, the home squad, ESF, they want to defend their home, get a W in the Carrier Dome. What do they got to do?
Well, I don't mean to be Captain Obvious, but this is not Allen Hall at Onondaga Community College. And because of that, you got to play with your nerves. You have to stay disciplined on offense and defense. You got to play within yourself and play to your talents. There's going to be a lot of nerves. This is your one and only game in the Carrier Dome, Will. That is going to be massive. See, if ESF can do that, they will be fine. It's going to have to start with Reed Patchett and Christian Rossi, the forward guard combo for ESF. Rossi has averaging 14 points per game. Meanwhile, Reed Patchett, 17.5.
It is definitely not Allen Hall at Onondaga Community College. The roof is high, the lights are bright, and ESF getting underway. So let's look at these starting lineups from ESF. They're going with Christian Rossi, Logan Sianko, Matt McFarland, Ashton Bushy, and Reed Patchett. It's a starting lineup that we've seen a couple of times so far this season. But let's take a quick look first at that SUNY Broome squad. They're going with Seth Roselle, Casey Salmon, Cameron Irving Miller, Andrew Charles, Jalen Pitts, and Andrew Charles. We've seen it a couple times, but what does this Hornet squad bring to the floor?
Well, they bring a great guard and a great forward. That's going to be the key to every basketball game. Casey Salmon started every game so far for the Hornets, 12 points per game, and even more importantly, almost 2 assists per game. Now, he's not the shooter that a guards usually are. 36% from the field is not something you want to see for a guard, but Jalen Pitts, number 21 in black, he makes up for it, averaging 11 points per game.
And across from them in the yellow, the ESF starting 5, they go with Christian Rossi, Logan Sianko, Matt McFarland, Ashton Bushy, and Reed Patchett. It's a lineup that we have seen a lot of times so far this season. Not the biggest so far, not the biggest one that they could pull off, but what do you like about it?
Well, I love, once again, a guard and a forward. Reed Patchett's going to lead this team. He started every game once again for the Mighty Oaks, and he's going to be a key player inside. The 6'5 sophomore, another player, watch out, 5'11 guard, Christian Rossi. He's going to be the main ball handler today for the Oaks.
And it will be Reed Patchett squaring up against Garrett Bieber for the opening tip. Decent-sized crowd here in the Carrier Dome. ESF brought all the Mighty Oaks they could find across Forestry Drive and under the steel and Teflon roof here inside the Carrier Dome. 20 minutes on the clock. The first half of action just moments away on Jim Boeheim Court. What else could you ask for, Anthony?
Absolutely nothing. Let's get it started.
Let's get it going. The opening tip. Won by the Hornets, but immediately pushed out of bounds. ESF gets an early possession with no time off the clock. Matt McFarland will control this inbounds. Appears Christian Rossi is going to be the designated target. He is. Rossi finds Samuel. Samuel works it around back to McFarland. Rossi at Bushy with an attempt off the short rim. Nearly rebounded by ESF, but now the Hornets control. Roselle Jr. averages 7 points a game. Commands his offense, gives him the signal. He's taking his time. Already only 10 seconds on the shot clock. Quick shot here from Salmon. That's off of the top of the backboard. ESF gets it back. It's McFarland with speed over the timeline.
Will, Salmon is not the guy you want taking those threes. He only averages 28% from the field.
Bushy finds McFarland. McFarland working his way in, loses the ball, gets it back up. Now it's Rossi, puts up a 2, and it goes! The Mighty Oaks strike first, under a minute gone. And the fans love that one.
It's a pretty good turnout so far, another dome game.
Cameron Irving Miller to Charles. Charles back out to Salmon. Salmon moves it to the right. Roselle Jr. with the long 3. Short rim and taken by the Mighty Oaks. Now it's Rossi on the left side. He works his way in towards the baseline, decides to pass it back out to McFarland. McFarland to Bushy. Now Samuel back to McFarland. He settles it down, works his way into the key. Exterior pass to Bushy. ESF can't decide on who's going to take this shot. SUNY Broome capitalizes and steals the ball away. It's Salmon, but he just rolls the ball out to Irving Miller. They're going to settle this down, but Irving Miller hits the Jets, tries to find a floater pass to Pitts, and the shot up is in to make it 2-all.
If you're the Hornets, you got to attack the middle. Looks like ESF starting out in a 2-3 zone, and if you're Broome, you got to shoot it from long range, and you got to attack it with Jalen Pitts down low.
ESF just kind of playing a bit of hot potato with the basketball. Eventually they get it out to Reed Patchett, who does Reed Patchett things, all 6'5" of him, and gets that one to go 4-2 ESF.
Smart move by Coach D'Antonio to get Reed Patchett involved on offense early.
Can Broome find an answer? Roselle with some contact into the key. And that is on the floor. Whistle blows it dead, and SUNY Broome will have an inbounds at the block. 17:35 left on the clock. ESF leads 4-2. And Broome looking for an answer. It's ESF trying to defend home court. Mid-range 2 from Irving Miller won't go. Great rebound by Pitts. Exterior pass to Charles. Charles back to Page. Charles long pass over to Salmon. Inside pass to Charles. Free throw jumper goes. 4-all.
It was too easy on that possession. Andrew Charles, nice job attacking the middle. You got to do that against the zone. And if SUNY Broome's going to have any shot in this, you got to do that.
Michael Samuel's 3 goes off back iron and is collected by the Hornets. And a foul blows the play dead, but no possession change as Broome retains. We'll start the next possession out of the basket.
Much to the chagrin of the ESF students.
I know.
Barking out early on in the first half.
They got about 3-4 whole rows back there. You've got Okie the Acorn pacing behind him. He actually just won the national mascot competition a few years ago, from what I heard from head coach John D'Antonio. Charles with another free throw range shot, but that hits nothing but backboard. And now Rossi with speed takes it over the timeline. Samuel, McFarland. Sianco thinks about it, won't go. Rossi back to McFarland. McFarland works his way in, deep 2. Hornets got it. Can Patchett get there? No. And it's Charles for Broome. Long 3 there from Irving Miller, doesn't go, and now SUNY ESF collects. Rossi not wasting any time on any of these possessions. Bit of a forced pass, but Rossi gets it back, works his way into the key. Ooh, tries to go over-under, but the tall frame of Jalen Pitts said no, no, no.
He's halfway to his block total, Will, averaging 2 blocks per game. He's that big man in the middle.
Jalen Pitts averages over 12.5 rebounds a game. He's a force defensively. Here's Rossi with a long 3. That rattles and rims around, but ESF gets it back. Samuel works in. High layup. Patchett. That won't go. Stolen away somehow by Samuel. Patchett again. And this time Pitts grabs that one. ESF not able to make multiple chances count. And now the Hornets trying to make one sting. Irving Miller. Roselle, jab step, hesitation. Long three, Salmon, too strong. ESF ball.
If you're Broome, you really have to work it inside of that 2-3 zone. So far, all 4 of your points have been made by buckets down low. And for Broome, they don't come into this one shooting it very well. They shoot 27% from the field. That is 12th in their conference, the MSAC Division III. And I mean, if you're Coach Josh Frederick, you should be telling the Hornets team to push it inside a lot more. That's where you're getting your buckets from.
Yeah, Broome on a 2-game losing streak, and in a 6-game span, dating back to the start of February, only 34% from 3, so really not their bread and butter. You figure they'd want to try to go more into the rim and kind of figure out what works for them. What works for them is really Jalen Pitts, but they're just not doing it so far. As here's Roselle with a bit of a circus shot, oh my goodness, from the free throw stripe, and that somehow finds Twine, and Broome has the first lead of the night. Now Rossi takes it back for ESF. Sianko finds Heffernan. Now on the floor. Uncontested 3 from McFarland. Back rim, almost rolled back in, but the Hornets collect and march it back.
A lot of these missed shots for ESF are not on par with how they usually go offensively. They're second in the HVIAC in field goal percentage. They're second in three-point percentage, so there's really not going quite well so far.
And a big swat there from McFarland. Puts the ball back into ESF hands. Here's Rossi driving into the basket. Pitts, once again, way too strong underneath the rim for ESF to get a rebound. And now it's Charles driving in, tries to put up the layup, but the rebound is collected by Sianko. Now ESF trying to force a pass into their offensive zone, but Broome gets a hand on it and stops the play dead. Now Rossi, a starter for ESF, exits the game for Hunter Waldman, the freshman out of Queens. And it is Waldman that controls on the inbounds. He passes back out to Heffernan. Sianko settles things down, man in his face. De Palma finds McFarland. Oh, a bit of a butterfinger situation there by Sianko as McFarland was trying to find him on the right elbow. And ESF gets nothing on that possession, and Seth Roselle has to do a bit of furniture rearranging to get the basketball back, but timeout taken, I believe, by Broome. SUNY's only just taken their first lead of the game. It's 6-4. The 3-ball has not been working for them really at all. If you were head coach of the Hornets right now, Joshua Frederick, what would you be saying to Broome to not only maintain that lead, but to start building on it?
Well, my point still stands for 2 minutes ago. Will, you got to dump the ball inside with Jalen Pitts and Andrew Charles. You can't make threes, and it's really rearing its ugly head early. I told you, SUNY Broome 12th in the MSAC in three-point percentage, 27%, and you know they're not going to score, but and because of that, it starts with their defense. And right now, I'm pretty impressed with the Hornets' defense. They're playing man-to-man, and they're playing very physical down low.
Yeah, I think a lot of that physicality comes from Pitts and Charles, two of the biggest guys on the floor. Pitts 6'5", Charles 6'3", and really commanding the rim both offensively and defensively. But we're back to playing here underneath the dome roof. It's Roselle. Out to Salmon. Now to Matt Page on the left corner. Back to Salmon. He's going to work it all the way around to the right. Now Roselle trying to find a pass to Page, but it bounces off his hands and out of bounds. ESF gets the ball back.
That's the second drop pass in as many possessions. And I don't know about you, Will, but maybe the nerves might be, creeping in a little bit. Last game of the season for each of these teams, the big bright lights at the Carrier Dome might be wreaking havoc so far.
Maybe. Here's McFarland with a corner three on the right side. That doesn't go, but it's rebounded by Heffernan. He finds the pass to Sianko with a three of his own. Oh, too strong. Who gets it? It's Broome. And now the Hornets bring it down the court. It's Roselle with speed. Tries to find Salmon. But the whistle stops the play dead. I believe there was a foul on the shot attempt.
Ooh, I think it was on the ground, Will.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Seth Roselle was running with a full head of speed, and ESF just got in the way right there. Referee's going to call it every single time when there's contact under the basket.
That contact leads to an inbounds. Roselle takes that pass and walks the dog to the left side of the key. Now Salmon. Pass to Pitts. Pitts bouncing into the key to Roselle. Long three. Off iron. Page is there for the rebound. Page to Bieber, who gets the free throw range shot to go. And Broome up 8-4 now on the Mighty Oaks. Rossi with a shot of his own. A little bit of contact down low, but the Hornets get the ball back. And ESF has struggled to find the basket after their first 2 or 3 possessions. Now Page. Again, too strong off the glass. The Mighty Oaks rebound. It's Sionko coming down, weighs his options, finds Heffernan. Heffernan back to Sionko. Waldman back to Heffernan. Inside pass to Patchett, and he's fouled up on the shot, and the ESF fans love that one.
Patchett not happy after missing that shot right there. You really have to finish the basket when you have a mighty drop step like that down low inside the paint, but free throw shooting is going to be key as well for SUNY ESF. Patchett shoots 70% from the line. And you don't usually see that too much from a big man in the middle. 70%, right?
Yeah, he's got some good touch. He's certainly not Shaquille O'Neal, but he's got some touch from the charity stripe. And averaging over 17 points per game, so you really expect that one to go, but I'm sure at this point of the game, every point counts for ESF. They'll take the baskets any way they can get them. Ooh, but that 70% for Patchett doesn't come up there.
It's a good old announcer's curse.
I know, I'm sorry. Reed Patchett, I'm sorry I compared you to Shaquille O'Neal, and you missed your first free throw, so my apologies. But
I don't think we'll be seeing any hack of Patchetts anytime soon, anytime in this game.
Not at this level of basketball. Maybe the old-time Lakers could bring it back. That'd be awesome, seeing LeBron James get that. LeBron James and maybe Russ Westbrook get it going. But, hey, Patchett connects the second one, so he's 500 from the line today. And now Broome still commanding a 3-point lead with just before the half mark in the half. But Roselle kind of forces a shot from the ACC logo on the floor. And SUNY, whistle blown dead, but that foul's on the floor. But SUNY gets the ball back right underneath their own basket. And they need a basket here. I'm sure they want to get a 3 to fall, but really anything will do.
Hey, baby steps, right? Before you can start taking outside shots, you got to dump it down low with their big man in the middle, Reed Patchett.
Recore on the floor. Here's Reed Patchett fighting his way underneath the basket. He's got 2 guys on him. And jump ball. But that's staying with the ESF. Oh, no, excuse me. Possession arrow points in favor of the Hornets. Broome takes over. And Patchett was having some difficulty there. He had not only Pitts, but also Matthew Page coming in there from the wings to rip that ball away from him. And not much you could do when those 2 guys got eyes for the ball. Irving Miller bounces it over to Frank Richards. Bit of a snake eyes pass there. Page. Irving Miller working his way in. McFarland gets a hand on it, but it's too strong, and the Hornets still possess. Mid-range jumper there from Charles doesn't go, and ESF gets the rebound mid-range in the paint. Here's Heffernan. Rossi working his way in. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line, on the floor, so he will get a free inbounds with 10:51 remaining on the clock in the first half. Rossi, not a small guy by any size. He's got some stock and size on him, but only 5'11", going up a pretty stocky Broome squad as Patchett gets one and one. Patchett finally able to make that move and get under the rim and make it count, and he's rewarded with the contact with a free trip to the charity stripe.
Well, that was just straight up disrespectful. That drop step and the pretty hook shot right there.
Figure that's going to be where he needs to make a living tonight. This 3-point shooting for ESF hasn't worked out so far. Patchett's going to need to play a huge role, and he's going to need to have a heck of a game when you've got big guys on the Broome side. And Broome, a bit of a scare there as the exterior pass gets deflected down, and Patchett comes in and absolutely hacks Andrew Charles. That's on the floor. And that'll right Patchett up for that one. It was almost a tomahawk on the arm of Andrew Charles.
That's right. Patchett was going for the ball right there. Got a little bit of wrist instead.
All square here in the Dome. 10:33 left in the first half. Broome in black and yellow, moving right to left. They control. Here's a deep 3 from Frank Richards. He gets it to go. That's 11-8 now for Broome.
A crowd silencer by Richards.
ESF wants an answer. McFarland to Recor. Back to Rossi. Now it's Heffernan. Heffernan, one step, two steps, long two, goes from the semicircle. 11-10. 9:55 left in the half. Charles. Page from deep. That goes, and now we are finally seeing a three-palooza from Jim Boeheim court. It took him a while for both teams to get warmed up, but the three ball finally working. And McFarland taking it into his own hands, tries to go. Here's another chance for ESF from Patchett. He still has the ball. No basket called. Foul blows the play dead on the floor. And this ESF fan base that's parked itself behind the Hornets basket didn't like it.
Poor Gary Bieber and poor Andrew Charles down low. Having a guard, Reed Patchett, a 6'5", massive sophomore like that, it's going to be tough.
Reed Patchett at home in the Carrier Dome, no less, I might add. Might get the adrenaline flowing a little bit. Rossi works his way into the paint, hands it off to his teammate Recor. His three attempt rolls off iron. Frank Richards works his way in. Baseline pass to Irving Miller. Miller works his way in. Corner three from Richards.
How about that? Frank Richards, a couple trays already. Shoots 31% from there from long range this season. So far, he's pretty hot for SUNY Broome.
And that's 3 3-pointers in a row on 3 consecutive possessions for the Hornets. Now this offense finally able to wake up, and it's big in part to number 12 in black, Frank Richards. Here's Page. Bounce pass to Irving Miller. Miller takes a high arcing floater off backboard, collected by the Mighty Oaks, and it'll be their ball after a whistle blows the play dead and some yellow substitutions come in. 8:24, 17-10 in favor of the visiting SUNY Broome Hornets. And they know just how big of a stage this is. Broome, just north of Binghamton, New York. This is really the mecca, like we were saying, of not just New York basketball, but you can make the argument of college basketball. They know how big of a stage this is. They want a strong performance, and so far they've gotten it.
That's right, and it's really been on Frank Richards, the backup point guard. And that tenacious defense right there by SUNY Broome. Look at Richards get on the floor.
Frank Richards absolutely outsides by Patchett, but he gets away with it. Excuse me, not Patchett, that's Delorier. Can the Hornets get back? Yes, they can. It's Page with a little bit of shimmy-shammy and some work off the glass. Hornets up to 19 now. ESF needs something here. It's Heffernan working to his right. Some stingy defense from Andrew Charles. And the Mighty Oak pass takes a carom and becomes a Hornet possession. Timeout on the floor taken. And the Mighty Oaks facing an uphill battle. It's 7.5 minutes left. They haven't scored in quite some time, and a lot of their successes come from the free throw line. If you're the Hornets, do you work more into the paint, or do you focus more on three-point shooting? Even though that hasn't really been your strong suit all season, do you start to experiment it, or what kind of option do you go with here?
Well, if you're head coach Josh Frederick, I would say just keep dumping it down low. Jalen Pitts is back in the game. Look for him to wreak havoc now that Reed Patchett's out of the game, getting a little bit of break for the Mighty Oaks. So it's going to have to start with Jalen Pitts. But, hey, credit to Frank Richards. Couple three balls, getting stuff started for Broome. That's one of the big reasons why they're up by 9 on that scoreboard.
Clock's moving once again. We're back underway. It's Frank Richards controlling. He takes it over the timeline and finds Matthew Page. Some quick tiki-taka passing. It's Frank Richards again with a triple. Does it go? No, off the corner of the rim. Big rebound there by Pitts. He takes a jumper of his own, but that's an air ball. And now ESF with a head full of steam. It's Michael Samuel. He looks for a pass to Sianko. No one home. Broome ball. And this ESF student section just to our right here in the Carrier Dome, almost got an airball chant going for that Jalen Pitts miss, but their team was simply too fast out of the gate and they almost interrupted themselves. Frank Richards is a 31% shooter from deep. He's a big reason why the Hornets have been able to pull away so far in this first half. Here he is with the ball, trying to find an inside pass to Pitts, but swatted away by the by the Mighty Oaks. And now the Hornets will get an inbounds right underneath the ESF basket. Long pass back out to Richards. He thinks about it, but back out to Page with a triple of his own. That's off glass, rebounded by Richards. He puts up the floater. That goes from the ACC logo. Frank Richards has had an absolutely fantastic first half. He adds to it with that too.
He's already got 8 points, only averages 10 on the year. How about that? A pleasant surprise by Frank Richards.
Sianko steps out of bounds on the baseline right there, and ESF has had trouble controlling a lot of these passes and finding their footing. I think they might have more jitters in this game than Broome, the visitors.
You could tell by that one stat, turnover margin. You know where, partner, you know where ESF ranked a turnover margin in the HVIAC?
I do not.
Second, plus 2.7, second in the conference, and right now they're not winning the turnover battle at all.
They're simply feeding Broome the ball as, Richards almost gets one to go again. But now ESF contains. Samuel, hesitation, floater, doesn't go, rattles around the rim, and he hacks Pitts on the way down. But Pitts with another strong board. Averages over 12.5 of those per game, and he's going to be a nuisance underneath the net for the Mighty Oaks. One second under 6 minutes to go. Head coach Joshua Frederick orchestrating his team. He's done a good job so far. They lead 21-10. A big part of that is because of their recent three-ball success. Pitts tries to find an interior pass to Matthew Page, but he basically just threw it off of his leg. And that's not exactly the kind of soft touch pass you were expecting from Jalen Pitts. Broome now playing a press defense. ESF trying to get around it. They do quite well, actually. Rossi now driving in, and another turnover there as it's ripped away by Charles. Here's Page, back to Charles. Richards working around the defense. Page almost gets swatted away by McFarland. Now ESF, it's Sianko, and he gets the layup to go. 21-12, ESF still down, but a big basket indeed as we move to 3/4 of the way done with the first 20.
Will, you say a big basket, I'm going to do one better. Massive turnover by ESF force, and they forced another one right there.
Like you said, it's going to be another battle of turnovers. It's Sianko again. Layup won't go this time. Teammate with the rebound. It was Patchett, but he didn't go. Now it's Frank Richards taking it all the way. No, he levels it off to his teammate Andrew Charles, and that's 2 for Charles. 23-12. Here's Rossi for the Mighty Oaks. Sianko, corner three, you got it. The Mighty Oaks with a big three ball to bring the lead back to within 8. 4 minutes and 19 seconds on the clock as Richard takes it over the timeline. Page. Andrew Charles. Okic. Oh, and you could hear the net, and that was pure. 26-15, the Hornets are cushioning themselves in the first. McFarland tries to make something go. He can't roll his finger off of it. Here's the Hornets. Okic. Back to Richards. Does it go? Oh, how about that?
Reggie.
In between the rim and the glass. Frank Richards, I like taking that shot. I'm not sure that's the result he was expecting. Hey, we've all done that in rec.
That's right, right? The toughest thing, though, is getting the ball down to see who could jump the highest in rec league.
Oh, luckily they got about 4 or 5 guys on this floor that are over 6'4", so I don't think they had too much trouble with that one. So they quickly get the ball back on the ground where it belongs. And now ESF has a chance to chip away at this Hornets lead. Here's Rossi from the ACC logo, off the glass and in. Going to the bank for that one.
Hey, bank's open past 5 at 6:30. The bank is open for Christian Rossi, though.
It's not Sunday. We've got Tuesday night here in Syracuse. The bank is still open. Salmon. Oh my goodness, how did that one go from Andrew Charles? Are they giving him the and one on that? Yes, they are. I mean, he made that shot parallel to the ground.
That's right. I think they got the foul on Reed Patchett. I got to give credit to Ryan Delorier, or actually Ashton Bushy, who just held his hands up down low. That's what you want to do defensively, but once you get that reach, and the ref's going to call it every single time.
Well, fortunately for Andrew Charles, that absolute miracle shot went in, but fortunately for ESF, he's only a 53% shooter from the charity stripe. The Staten Island man had a season-high 22 against Genesee Community College just a couple of weeks ago on January 15th, but he gets the end one to go, and it bumps up his percentage a little bit. Three-point play for Charles. Heffernan, Sianko, does he have another three from that left elbow? No, near iron and straight into the hands of Pitts.
If you're Coach John D'Antonio, I am not liking these possessions for ESF. You got to slow things down. I know this is the big carrier dome game, but the way this offense runs, you got to play slow, you got to play deliberately.
Roselle works his way into the paint, but he loses that ball, but he was going to get met by Patchett either way. Now Rossi, McFarland, top of the arc three, no, off the elbow. Rossi gets it back right before it goes into the Hornets bench. Sianko, right side, 3 attempts, not good. Rebounded by the Hornets, but ESF gets the ball back. Interior pass to Patchett. Finally, ESF gets it to go. Timeout taken. Or not timeout taken. I'm not sure exactly what that whistle called dead. We've got 2:20 left on the clock. SUNY Broome up 10 on ESF, and Patchett just had a huge basket. Now another chance for ESF. Here's Sianko. Oh my goodness. Jalen Pitts went up to rebound that one after Sianko blanked it. Roselle Jr. That was Andrew Charles missing that three-point attempt. Still on the floor. Who's got it? It looks like Pitts controlled that ball, but it will be an ESF possession. Oh no, excuse me. SUNY Broome possession underneath their own offensive basket.
I think they're having a little bit of trouble with who has possession.
Yeah. I mean, the possession arrow does point in favor of SUNY Broome, and it is Killian Oketch underneath the basket. He quickly passes it out to Salmon, who in turn passes it out to Pitts. It's back to Salmon on that right elbow. Now Roselle at the top. Oketch with a three. Oh! Kind of darted around the rims there for a little bit, but eventually went. And Oketch tacks on a triple. Roselle, or excuse me, Rossi driving in. He doesn't go. Pitts rebounds and outlet passes to Salmon. Salmon does it all himself. Tries to get the finger roll to go, but Heffernan is there for the board. And he's marching down now. Heffernan to Rossi, tries to tiptoe the baseline. And Pitts is called for it. Foul on the floor. ESF will retain possession. Still some confusion on these foul calls. I'm not sure everyone's on the same page here, but eventually they get things squared away. It's Rossi at the free throw line. She's Syracuse, New York native. This might be his first time ever playing in the Dome. He's only a sophomore. ESF did not play this game last year, obviously, because of COVID restrictions. And usually, Coach John D'Antonio was telling us, usually this game is played between Paul Smith College from upstate up in the Adirondacks, and it's called the Bark Eater Cup. So not sure if this is qualifying as the Bark Eater Cup, but still a date to circle for the ESF basketball team.
Always a date. It's also a date to circle for these students, man. How about the students below the basket, bringing their noisemakers, getting loud for their team?
Just need the like the vuvuzelas that they had in
the South Africa World Cup a few years ago. Charles, that's near rim, and we're just nearly under a minute here inside the dome. Here's Rossi working his way into the basket. Big swat there by Pitts. And Charles is there for the board. He hands it quickly off to Roselle, who takes it over half and settles things down. Step back three from Roselle. High arcing off the backboard, off the rim, and McFarland is there for the grab for the Mighty Oaks.
48 seconds to go here, Will. If you're ESF, slow things down. Take a full possession. Run the shot clock down to below 10 seconds.
They still got 17 seconds to use. It's Rossi, and they will settle things down. They're going to try to get a play going. Now McFarland. McFarland, Samuel, Cash! Hunter Waldman gets one to go. It's 32-24 in favor of Broome. Shot clock off, 20 seconds to go. Salmon, guarded by Rossi. Salmon working it in. Pass out to Charles. Charles driving into the paint, off the glass and in. SUNY will have about 3 seconds. It's Wallman. Heffernan's buzzer beater attempt is well short. And that takes us all the way to the half. A back and forth affair. ESF led it for quite some time, but behind some great three-point shooting and some better defense, frankly, SUNY Broome goes into the half with a 34-24 lead, a 10-point lead at the break, and quite frankly, one that they look to maintain as the second half goes on.
How surprising is this, Will? A 10-point lead for SUNY Broome, and I got to give a lot of credit to SUNY Broome's offense and defense here. They've been clamping down on defense, and probably a lot of it's because of ESF's lackluster quick-pace offense.
He said it. That's halftime in the Carrier Dome, 34-24, the score at the break. Coverage continues after a brief pause. You're all watching college basketball on ESFTV. Halftime here in the Carrier Dome. It's SUNY Broome 34, ESF 24. I'm Will Henschel alongside Anthony Vasquez. And Anthony, it was really a back and forth half. We saw both teams take lead changes, but SUNY Broome got theirs and basically carried on with it. Did not give it up and really maintained that. Some good shooting, some great defense. What did you really see out there from the Hornets?
Well, you probably took the words out of my mouth right there, partner. It was fantastic shooting and fantastic defense. We got to get some shout-outs in that first half for SUNY Broome. Who would have thought they would be up by 10 points, 34-24, as we creep under 9 minutes left in halftime. You got to give credit to Frank Charles. A couple threes and another bucket. 8 points in that first half. Another player is Andrew Charles. 9 points in that first half for the Hornets. Those two players have been key so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Frank Richards, some huge three-pointers for the Hornets. 3 straight possessions they had about midway through the half where they had 3 consecutive three-pointers. That really allowed them to carry on and build up that lead. 7 fouls on this call for the Hornets, 3 for ESF, so no one really in foul trouble. But if we look at these stats on this screen right now, ESF not doing great from the field, 9 for 37. That's got to improve. Big part of that is they just can't get anything going in the key. The Hornet big men are just basically blocking them at every opportunity they get.
That's right. John D'Antonio was one of the keys to the game early. Attack the rim, and they aren't doing that. They aren't doing it with Reed Patchett. They got to give him the ball more. He's been absent. You saw the stat bug. He was absent in that stat bug. He has been absent in this game. And if you're SUNY ESF, you really have to get him going.
SUNY ESF really relies on Patchett. He's their tallest guy on the floor. He leads the team in scoring. He's got multiple 20-point games, and he's got some good baskets. He's got some necessary baskets. He's been sent to the charity stripe a couple times, but he hasn't been that impact that you've needed. And I think another player that's really been lacking for the CSF team is Rossi. Rossi has been trying to find space basically everywhere he can, but he's just getting either swatted down or outpowered or really outmanned, especially along that baseline. He just cannot find space against the Hornets.
That's right. Christian Rossi he leads SUNY ESF with 8 points, but I'm sure he would not be happy with his performance. So far, Christian Rossi has to step up indeed. 8 points is a lot. I mean, he has 8 of the 24 SUNY ESF points, but it has to be him and Patchett so far.
Absolutely. So, Anthony, we're here in the Carrier Dome, but what a lot of people might not know about the Carrier Dome is that it's actually named Jim Boeheim Court. And if you are a Syracuse fan, you know that Jim Boeheim does, in fact, have over 1,000 career wins. He's just behind Coach Mike Krzyzewski over at Duke. But there's another coach that a lot of people don't know that's right behind him.
That's right, and his name is Dick Baldwin. Now, if you don't know him, you look at the stat right there. 961 career wins, 3rd all-time behind Mike Krzyzewski and, of course, Jim Boeheim. But look at the list he's up there with, partner. Krzyzewski, Boeheim, Roy Williams, and Dean Smith, all Hall of Fame coaches. But what sets Dick Baldwin apart, he's not in the Hall of Fame. He only had 3 losing seasons, 40 years coaching at SUNY Broome, and he's really bucking the trend of a big-time coach at a small school. You see it a lot in the college game. You know, a lot of small school coaches work their way up to maybe a Power 5 job. That's not what Dick Baldwin does. He spent 40 seasons as a coach for SUNY Broome. He only had 3 losing seasons and a 74% winning percentage. Can you believe that? I can't either.
Unbelievable numbers that Dick Baldwin's put up. Started his career at Broome, then went over to Binghamton to coach that basketball squad. Actually got the better end of a matchup against Jim Boeheim in the 60s. Binghamton took on the Orange freshman team, an undefeated Orange freshman team, I might add, and got the better end of the deal. So Jim Boeheim, coaching legend as he is, has not gotten the better end of that matchup. And
here's a cool nugget for you. We talk a lot about Ironman stats in the big 4 major sports, you know, playing consecutive games. How about Dick Baldwin? 1,300 consecutive games coach. He didn't miss a game. Got to give a lot of credit to him. He also co-head coached with the late Jerry Tarkanian over at Pasadena. Well, back when Tarkanian was the head coach at Pasadena City College down in Southern California. They both coached the Junior College Olympic Trials down in Mexico. So how about that? Jerry Tarkanian, the UNLV coach, the biter of the towel.
That's right around your hometown, Pasadena.
That is right.
Pasadena City College.
A local community college down in Southern California. I actually had no idea Tarkanian coached there.
I know. Well, that's really the incredible thing is that we have basically a coach of the stature that Baldwin's achieved, has almost 1,000 wins and gets no recognition, not in the Hall of Fame. I mean, everybody, you saw that list. Krzyzewski, Boeheim, everybody on that list is going to the Hall of Fame, but there's just one glaring issue. What's a coach like him got to do to end up in Springfield?
Absolutely nothing more. He should be there. I mean, if you coach 45 seasons, 40 years at one school, and rack up 961 wins among the likes of, the giants in the sport, Boeheim, Krzyzewski, Dean Smith, and all the other great coaches in college basketball, you have to ask yourself, why isn't he there? And you ask that question, you're really preaching to the choir. I think he should be in that Hall of Fame.
And if Springfield is listening to this broadcast, we think Dick Baldwin should be on that list, should be in the Basketball Hall of Fame, a huge part of Central New York basketball, a huge part of Broome SUNY basketball. And hey, I think he's a lock for the Hall. I think that vote should go back.
Hey, and another fun side note tonight, the father of our broadcast director tonight, Don Bakura, he was also the team manager for Dick Baldwin's 1951 squad. How about that? And I'm not too sure what happened in 1951 over at SUNY Broome, but I'm sure it wasn't a losing season because only had 3 of them.
And they were a winning team going over to the regionals of NCAAs, and an incredible story here in Central New York. Dick Baldwin, a historic coach here in Central New York for the SUNY Broome. It's halftime in Syracuse. SUNY Broome leads 34-24 against the ESF Mighty Oaks. We're going to take a quick break, but Mighty Oaks basketball returns in a quick break. Stay right here. Welcome back inside the Carrier Dome at Jim Boeheim Court as SUNY Broome leads SUNY ESF 34-24. 20 minutes gone, 20 minutes to go. And we are back playing basketball as ESF controls. I'm Will Henschel alongside Anthony Vasquez. Thank you so much for joining us as Heffernan wastes absolutely no time and sticks a three to open up the half. That's 5 for him now.
That's a big way to open up this second half if you're ESF. You got to be stroking it from deep. They are second in the HBIC in threes, and we still haven't seen that second place power for ESF.
Here's Pitts, big man for Broome, trying to work his way in, and he just muscles his way to the rim and puts up a bank layup. 26-27. Here's McFarland, another three from Heffernan. That one a bit less lucky than the first, and no twine found. Here's Pitts, driving his way in. Tries to work the baseline. Now out to Salmon. Salmon on the right side. Pitts with the put away. That doesn't go. Rattles off iron. Whistle blown dead. And foul called on the floor. ESF will get possession.
Yes.
Oh, no, excuse me. I thought not called on the floor. That was actually called on the shot, so Pitts gets sent to the line. We mentioned it a bit earlier. He's actually a solid big man from three, 54.5% entering today's game. Florida native. His first attempt goes off near iron, and the ESF crowd lets him know it. Take it 0 for 2 from Pitts. And ESF gets away with one. The Mighty Oaks come back with Christian Rossi. McFarland now. Back to Rossi on the left side. Back to McFarland at the top. Rossi, left elbow, thinks about it. McFarland, Heffernan on the right. Back to McFarland, just seesawing it around. Heffernan pulls the trigger, off iron. Can the Hornets get it? They do. It's Cameron Irving Miller. Miller, mid-range. Air ball, rebounded by Heffernan. He sprints over the timeline. Darts it over to McFarland. McFarland with the finger roll, gets it to go. 26-29. Matt McFarland adds another. Roselle Jr. Casey Salmon. Little no-look pass there. It's Pitts. Goes up once, goes up twice. It rolls in for a jug.
Coach Frederick already playing through Jalen Pitts, and that is going to be so important if Broome is going to hold this lead. What is also important right now is a SUNY Broome full court press that's really been speeding up ESF all night.
Reed Patchett. Exterior pass to McFarland. McFarland works his way in. Free throw jumper, that rolls in. McFarland now making his presence known in the second half. He's up to 4 points now with 7:20 remaining in the second.
Nice to see the sophomore stepping up, but I'm still waiting for Reed Patchett to catch it down low and make some noise offensively.
Irving Miller's pass goes astray. It's get collected by Heffernan and immediately dumped out to McFarland. Rossi tries to find a lane to the basket. It's quickly closed, and it rolls out on a Hornet player. ESF retains possession. .05 left on the clock. Long pass out to Sionko. Sionko, jump pass into Patchett. Patchett with the right skyhook, rattles around the jar, it won't go. And Broome controls. Irving Miller. Tries to make something go. It gets swatted out of bounds by ESF. Irving Miller finds Roselle. Roselle, interior pass to his teammate Charles, doesn't beat the buzzer. 16:28 left here in the second half, the Carrier Dome. Once again, I'm Will Henschel, joined by Anthony Vasquez. Kieran Heffernan hands off to his teammate, Matt McFarland. Christian Rossi now. Heffernan from the right corner. Bang! Heffernan's been living in that spot this half. It's now a 4-point game after Broome had a 10-point halftime lead.
Great to see Heffernan stepping up. He's already at 8 points, and I'm starting to feel the momentum starting to turn in this game.
Salmon, rattles around. He thought he answered. And a foul on the rebound called. ESF gets the ball back with a chance to make it as close to a 1-point game. 15:58. And a timeout is called. Broome's had enough. That lead has gotten whittled down just enough. But as they take a timeout, we're going to welcome in a special guest. We're joined here on the sideline by ESF women's soccer head coach Mandy Olinsky. Mandy, thank you so much for joining us. You actually just won the national championship with the Mighty Oaks.
We did, yes. It was a huge year, huge success. Couldn't be more proud of the efforts, the dedication. I had the privilege of coaching a very talented group of young ladies. And I think it was just even more of a special celebration for us coming off of a year like 2020 and really having to regroup and come back and put things back together and have such a successful season. So.
Well, that's right. Talk about 2020 and the struggles. I'm sure ESF has had their own struggles with COVID and all that. How has your team adjusted, en route to a championship?
Adjusting, I think we're still in our own way. I think just celebrating just all the hard work and seeing how much it's paid off. It was like I said, coming off of a year of really doing not anything. I think that's why it was just such a exciting celebration for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations again on the season. I'm sure it was a difficult transition from last season to this one. Bit of a cathartic experience for everybody, and to bring the national championship back to Forestry Drive. Out of timeout now, ESF controls the ball. Still only down by 4, 15:58 left in the half, and on a bit of a run. Broome forced to take a timeout on that last possession after ESF had clawed their way back to make a 10-point deficit, only 4. Rossi to McFarland. Back to Heffernan on the left elbow. Patchett puts up the left hook and goes. ESF only down by 2 now, 38-36.
And as this momentum starts to change, once again, Mandy Olinsky with us, the head women's soccer coach here at ESF. And Mandy, how do you like the atmosphere tonight,
I think it's incredible. I'm loving seeing just such a great turnout and just such a great support that's come out tonight for ESF sports. Again, I think that these types of events just have a more meaning now that we're all kind of back together, returning to normalcy.
Well, that's right. As we, creep towards a return to normalcy, what do you see, the future outlook for your team, coming off the national championship?
We're really excited for the 2022 season. We have a lot of talented returning players. We have some very young, talented players that are going to be coming to ESF next fall. Again, I think we're going to have another very successful, talented team.
And do you hope to maybe take some of these things, like this game at the Carrier Dome for the basketball side? Do you hope to maybe have similar things for the soccer program, maybe a couple games at the SU Soccer Stadium, events like that?
I think that would be fantastic. Again, being that our schools are in some ways are so intertwined with that affiliation, I think that it would just be a great event for not only the student athletes but the ESF students as well.
And what do you think that relationship is like for the ESF and the SU kids, that relationship, but basically having two schools and sharing the same facilities? What's that like for the players and you as a coach?
I think it's a unique relationship. I'm still, like I said, learning about a lot of the way in which the two schools kind of intertwine themselves. But I think that there's pride in both ends. And I think that, again, it's really nice to have some of the amenities our students can enjoy from Syracuse University. I think that that's a really big draw for our students, but I think it's something that they can also really enjoy. They get that big school experience, but also can kind of stick to that smaller school community as well on the ESF side.
Frank Richards bangs home a three-pointer for SUNY Broome, as this game has just gotten from entertaining to downright must-watch. 41 all with 13 left in the second half. It's been an offensive battle since the opening whistle of the second half. Rossi can't get that one to roll down. It's rebounded by the Hornets.
Mandy, we got one more question before we go. You know, what are your thoughts on Okie the Acorn? This is our first time experiencing, you know, Okie. You know, what are your thoughts on him? He's a great mascot.
He's a great mascot. He's got the energy, certainly. I love how he engages with all the students in the crowd. And again, just brings more fun and entertainment and excitement to a great event.
You think we can get an Okie Auto collaboration in some way in the near future?
I hope so.
A little battle of force you drive?
I think it's needed. I think it's due time.
Heffernan's absolutely automatic from the right side of the line. That's 3 triples on that side of the court this half. ESF now up 44-41. Kuba fighting for it, finally gets it to fall. Rossi finds his way back into the lane, gets into the scoring column once again, and ESF starts to extend this lead. Once again, Mandy Olinsky, thank you so much for joining us on ESFTV, for giving your input. Once again, congratulations on the national championship season. We look forward to seeing more of you around campus, and good luck for the remainder of the season and the year.
Thank you so much. We're very excited. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Broome with the ball back in their own end. Seth Roselle. Mid-range jumper doesn't go for Charles. Needs to get it back for Matt McFarland in ESF. McFarland trying to settle the pace down. Delorier. Back to Bushy. Inside pass to Delorier. That's good. One of only 3 players not from New York on this roster. The Massachusetts man adds to the lead. Richards. Charles trying to work his way in. He's swatted away by McFarland. No basket, or no shot called rather. That's on the floor. SUNY Broome will have a chance to inbounds it underneath the ESF basket. Delorier on the left side. Bushy. McFarland scans his teams. Samuel rattles around rim, rebounded by Andrew Charles.
This is a big possession right here if you're Broome. You got to kill this momentum being kick-started by the student section at ESF.
The student section has gotten loud. They have inflatable sound makers. They are using the full effect here inside the Carrier Dome. Roselle, Salmon, exterior pass to Richards. He can shoot. He gets it. Frank Richards slams home another triple for his 6th of the game. 48-46. ESF still leads, but that triple sure helps a lot.
How about Frank? I'm a big fan of Frank Richards. He is definitely showing up tonight inside the dome. He coming into this game only 31% from long range. He's stroking it right now. He has 14 points, leader for SUNY Broome.
Frank Richards definitely ate his Wheaties today. Michael Samuel drives the rim and puts in a shifty layup. Roselle Jr. Crossover. Works his way backwards. Triple attempt from Roselle. Off rim. Rebounded by the Mighty Oaks. Oh, Rossi stolen away by Roselle. Oh, foul called on the layup attempt by Andrew Charles. And that'll send him to the line.
Well, it looks like we got a little bit of some extracurriculars going on by a pair of number one, Seth Roselle and Christian Rossi, you know, jabbing at each other. This is a high-intensity game, 10 minutes to go, 4-point game.
4-point game, Dome's getting loud. So, Anthony, we just talked to Mandy Olinsky, head soccer coach over at ESF women's side, but now we are joined by the SUNY Broome interim athletic director, Colleen Cashman. Colleen, thank you so much for joining the broadcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to be here underneath the Carrier Dome roof. What does a game like this mean where you can come into Syracuse and enjoy the festivities in a D1 facility such as this?
I think for our men, it's an extreme experience for them. There's no doubt about it. You know, it's I hope something that they're not ever going to forget, right? And something that may jumpstart their career after this. Who knows? And you know, who knew that this few people from ESF could create so much of an atmosphere as well. And you're right. You know, I just heard you say, you know, the crowd is kind of turned the momentum.
Turn the tide of the
yeah,
game.
they did. They definitely have turned the tide because we had the first half, and now they've
All of a
definitely.
sudden-
I mean, it's 53-47 now. So.
Yeah,
You talk about the momentum here inside of the Carrier Dome, but, you know, SUNY Broome doesn't play, you know, in the Carrier Dome often. I believe this is your first time, if I'm not mistaken.
I
You know,
believe so, yeah.
Tell me, you know, how did this game come together?
So SUNY ESF was supposed to come to Broome earlier in the season, and then we had to postpone that. And then the AD Dan had called me and said, hey, how'd you like to come up and play us? And I was like, absolutely. You know, there's no doubt in my mind that we would be able to make this happen. And I'm definitely excited to be here and excited, like I said, for our men's team to be here. They didn't seem all that excited during the announcements of their names, but, you know, I could see when they started off that they were definitely ready to play.
Maybe a bit of a poker face from the Hornets, but we talked
Yeah.
about it a bit earlier in the broadcast, the history that SUNY Broome has not only with just the school or the basketball program, but also with Central New York basketball as a whole. We talked about Dick Baldwin. What does that mean sort of for a legend like Dick Baldwin, who used to coach for Broome, for his team, or his former team rather, to come into the Carrier Dome and play a game where the likes of Jim Boeheim and Carmelo Anthony and, you know, the state championship games are? What does that mean for New York basketball as a whole?
Well, ironically, when Dick Baldwin was coaching at Broome, I was actually a student at Broome. So I had some interactions with him. And, you know, I think for the game as a whole, he definitely had brought it to a different level, and especially for a junior college, right? So for SUNY Broome and a junior college to be able to come to the Carrier Dome, recruiting-wise, you know, for us as a junior college to be able to say, hey, you know, this is what we did for our program and with our program is great to be able to do that. And, you know, who knows, maybe we'll be able to do it again and broaden that exposure for us. As a whole for the sport of basketball, you know, you just mentioning Dick Baldwin's name. When was the last time anyone ever heard Dick Baldwin? Right? I mean, the man was a legend back in the 70s and the 80s. And, you know, I'm not even sure how many other people hearing this broadcast remember him. Right? So he was, at that time, the winningest coach in basketball, whether it was Division I, II, or III. In any NCAA and JCAA. So,
We're getting the word out. We got to get him to the Hall of Fame.
961 wins, but no accolades in the Hall of Fame.
Right, right, yeah. So there you go.
And Colleen, before we let you go, you know, of course, SUNY Broome being a community college, is it different from a recruiting standpoint, you know, of being a community college versus a four-year school?
It is very different, yeah. It's definitely very different. You know, to recruit to a junior college, you know, you're saying it's 2 years, you know, and then you're going to go on. But, you know, community college, a lot of students don't want to just stay home, first of all, right, in this respect. But, you know, for us, we have a residential community. So that's where we're able to draw a lot of students outside of Broome community, you know, Broome County. So that's where, especially for men's basketball, we're able to do that, where other colleges, you know, aren't that.
Well, that's right. You got a couple of players from Derby, Connecticut on your roster now. How do you think that speaks to your outreach, you know, beyond Central New York?
It speaks volumes, I think, you know, not only for our college, but for the area. You know, Broome County, where we're situated, and just like Syracuse, right? It's major interstate. We're situated right on 2 major interstates, so it's definitely a good area to recruit to. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Colleen Cashman, thank you so much for joining the broadcast.
Thank you.
Best
I
of luck
appreciate
to your Hornets for the remainder of the game.
I'm hoping they turn it up a little.
Yeah. Currently down 56-49 with 8:20 remaining in the second half.
More threes here.
Definitely, 100%. And SUNY Broome has a 3-point shooter, so do make that a possibility.
And Jalen Pitts needs to get back in the game and get some more rebounds.
No, there you
All
go.
right, well,
Coach Colleen.
You want to send us the
Coach
scouting
Colleen.
report?
I tell you,
Yeah.
he does. So.
Ooh, Michael Samuel trying to find when that rims around and bounces out. Once again, we've been joined by SUNY Broome Interim Athletic Director Colleen Cashman. Colleen, thank you so much for joining the broadcast.
Enjoy the rest of the game.
Back in action here at the Carrier Dome. It's been an absolute barn burner while we had our 2 fantastic guests on the air, Colleen Cashman and Mandy Olinsky. But so far, it's all ESF controlling the back 20 of this game. It's been some great shooting, not just from the Mighty Oaks, but also from the Hornets side. Frank Richards once again getting back into the feel of things, tacking home a few from distance, and really a lot of other players getting in on the action as well. Matt McFarland passes it out to Christian Rossi. Back to McFarland. Heffernan, Sianko, Patchett, Heffernan tries to get one to go. It rattles around the backboard and the rim. And no damage done for the Hornets, who now find themselves down by 9 after having a 10-point halftime lead. Here's Pitts, muscles it up and through. Big basket for the Hornets. Pitts will draw the foul and he'll shoot a free one. 60-53 as Sianko exits in way for Michael Parinello, the Holbrook, New York native guard. Doesn't see too much game action, only 5 games played so far this season. But might have to play a necessary role in this one. Back to Pitts on the free, crowd making some noise. Oh, and it worked! Devastating effect, Jalen Pitts airballs the free throw attempt. And I feel like I may have contributed a bit to that with the jinx in the first half. I'm sorry, Jalen Pitts. Matt McFarland over the timeline. His team leading by 7. Rossi works it back behind the arc. Rossi driving in. Pass out to Patchett. McFarland has all the time in the world. Oh, near rim and down, but it's collected by Rossi. Back to McFarland. Driving in. Layup is good. Matt McFarland with his 7th point of the game makes it a 9-point contest once again. Big scrum here. Parinello can't get it. Hornets collect once again. Irving Miller. Pass swatted away by McFarland. What a block. Heffernan collects. It's ESF ball. McFarland. Back to Heffernan. McFarland still working it around. Step back three. No, near rim. He's had trouble finding that mark recently. And now Seth Roselle carries it over the timeline for the Hornets. Roselle does it himself. Does it go? No. Collected by Pitts. Rebound goes. Pitts goes up and over everyone with a strong basket. All right, so we've had two guests on the show now. We're joined by a third. This time, it's the ESF Athletic Director, Mr. Dan Rahman. Dan, welcome to the Carry Dome. Welcome to the broadcast.
Fantastic to be here, fellas. I thank all the staff of the Dome, and especially you guys, man. You guys have been doing a great job.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yep.
How's the so for a school like ESF with such proximity to a Division I school in a facility like the Carry Dome, how special is this for not only the athletes but the students and the staff to get in here and celebrate the game of basketball?
It's fantastic. It means so much. I mean, there's so many times that our ESF students and student athletes come to support SU athletics and to be in here. It's kind of like a second home. Even though we are kind of the shadow of SU in some ways, I mean, we are certainly part of it, and certainly you own it tonight, man. This dome is just fantastic, man. It's lit up in green, man. The whole roof is lit up in green.
You know, and we just had Mandy Olinsky on, the women's soccer head coach. She was talking about how, you know, SU and ESF really feed off each other, both athletically, and, you know, can you speak more to that, you know?
Definitely. There's always just been a great relationship. I mean, the history is we used to be the School of Forestry at Syracuse University back in the day. So it's just been a long, great connection. Our students can take classes there, and it's just a great advantage to have, you know, so many opportunities that a big school can bring to such a small school. You know, and I think, you know, the kids love it, man. The kids support both, you know, SU athletics and our athletics. It's great. So we got a great run here, fellas, man. I'm afraid to say anything. I don't want to jinx anything here, man.
Well, we had the Broome athletic director, Colleen Cashman. She was saying that Broome needs a run right now. I mean, they let it half, and now ESF has stormed back into this one. It's been an entertaining final 20 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we were saying to Cashman, having a school like Broome, who has so much history to Central New York basketball and basketball as a whole, how important and how great is that to have a team like this in the Dome playing SUNY ESF?
Oh, it's just a great natural fit playing another SUNY school, another well-respected SUNY school. I think it's appropriate. You know, there's 64 SUNY schools, and you know we all try to support each other in different ways. You know, this is one of them.
And of course, you're playing your annual game at the Dome. You know, can you tell more about how that came about? You know, your home court of Allen Hall to the Dome.
It's been a long haul. I mean, we started, you know, athletics even almost 16 years ago. But our basketball team started by a gentleman named Scott Blair, really negotiated a good deal and really started us to get in here at the Dome and create this annual game. And we've really grown to love it, man. COVID put everybody out that last year, but we've had some great games. You know, 2 years ago we won in overtime, and that was a nail biter. So.
And this game is usually played, we were talking earlier to head coach John D'Antonio, this game is usually played against Paul Smith, and for the Bark Eater Cup. Is that cup up for grabs tonight or no?
So no, it's a specific cup associated with Paul Smith. So we have it for soccer, and we also have it for basketball. And basically, the Bark Eater kind of translates. It's an Adirondack word that translates to, you know, the Indian word for how they would eat up the trees. And you know, Bark Eaters, I mean, that whole battle was, we've been doing that with Paul Smith for probably 8 years now. But this year we didn't play soccer, so I didn't think it was appropriate that we play basketball. And that's kind of what the Adirondack translates to Bark Eater. It's a great battle, though, and I'm sure we'll bring it back. But for now, I mean, I'm really interested in these SUNY connections we can make and really, you know, build out that.
Well, that's right. You know, it's SUNY Broome versus SUNY ESF. You know, can you talk about, from a recruiting standpoint for the Mighty Oaks, what this dome game does for John D'Antonio's squad.
I would be just amazed if someone wasn't thoroughly impressed that, you know, you get to play an annual game in the carrier game.
It's a great selling
You know,
point.
and the other thing I want to say is, you know, it's not only you get to play it, you get to cover it in such a way where it's remembered for the rest of your days, and it's covered by some professionals like yourselves, man, doing a great job commentating on it, and the camera crew and everybody. It's a very professional production you put on, and to be part of that, that's a beautiful recruiting piece.
Absolutely. Now, we left Mandy Olinsky with this question, and we'll leave it with you for our closing question. When are we getting the Okie the Acorn and the Otto the Orange collaboration that we all need?
I believe we got to work on that. You know, we're going to need some training, man. You guys got a lot more practice. You know, we're going to need, some kind of regiment created for that. But it would be a good battle.
I think it would be good. Otto, you know, both plants, both non-animal mascots. I think it would be a good fight.
You got it, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Dan Rahman, for joining us once again on this broadcast, and good luck for the rest of the game.
Thank you, fellas. Good night.
We march on in the second half, a minute 47 left in the game, and it's frankly been all ESF in the final 20. A minute 47 remaining. The Mighty Oaks up 68-59 against the Hornets, and it's really just been a game of shooting, streaks, and just good bounces. Once again, I'm Will Henschel, joined by Anthony Vasquez. Anthony, what has led ESF to get to this point where they now lead 68-59 when they were down 10 at halftime?
Well, I don't know if it was the tongue lashing Coach John D'Antonio gave his team or the orange slices they had at halftime, but right now his team is playing on fire right now. You know, to be down 10 going into the halftime locker room now with 107 seconds left, to be staring up at a 9-point lead and arguably your biggest game of the year, nothing but credit for John D'Antonio's squad.
I agree with everything you just said, but I disagree with one word. You said arguably the biggest game of the year. This has got to be the biggest game of the year for the Mighty Oaks. I mean, you're in the Dome. Season finale hasn't been the brightest spot of seasons, but I mean, if you can get a win against a historic SUNY program like Broome at the Carrier Dome in front of all your fans with the dome all lit up green, you got the ribbon boards, you got the video boards. I mean, the whole place looks immaculate. I mean, this has got to be the absolute cherry on top of a season for the Mighty Oaks.
That's right, and for a lot of these players, you know, they even though, as you said, the season was not how they planned it, only 5-11 on the air, if they win the last game in the Dome, though, that is going to make their season, no matter how good or bad they finish this year.
Absolutely, and you know, the seniors are never going to remember the downs and the ups of the season, but they will forever remember this game in the Carrier Dome. But we are back to playing 107 seconds on the clock, make it 101 after a 6-second play. ESF up 68-59 on SUNY Broome. And they control, moving right to left, wearing the yellow with green trim. Broome in the black with yellow trim, moving left to right.
And if you're Broome here, sorry to interrupt you, partner, but if you're Broome here, you got to play intense defense. You got to create turnovers. This is dig deep time for the Hornets.
It's McFarland controls at the top, finds Waldman, back to Heffernan. Waldman, Rossi, wide open three. Off near iron, rebounded by Heffernan. He takes it all the way back to Waldman. On the left side, Waldman conducts his troops, and he is fouled on the touch on the floor. And that stops the clock at 1:16. It won't be under the basket. It'll be right to our left. It's Matt McFarland taking the inbounds. He's being stared in the face by Andrew Charles. Quick pass to Heffernan. He tries to work it around on the baseline, but it's stolen away by Cameron Irving Miller. He takes the quick three. No, won't go. It's rebounded by McFarland. Irving Miller charges in. It looked like he got a bit of wrist on that contest, and he draws the foul with 1:01 left. Like you were saying, SUNY Broome needed to force turnovers. They needed a tough transition, and they have not gotten it just yet.
That's right, as ESF heads to the line, shooting 1-1. ESF is in the bonus now. That's going to be key if you're Broome.
That will change things on whether or not you decide to send somebody to the line. As for Rossi, a pretty good charity stripe shooter, shooting 2/3 on the year. Oh, a Mario coin sound effect on the free throw. I think that's a new addition to the second half. 69-59, 101 left on the clock. Rossi makes it 70-59. Mighty Oaks lead by 11 with 101 still to go. Roselle. Long three from Charles doesn't go. It's rebounded by the Mighty Oaks. Long pass by Rossi is intercepted. Hornets looking for something. Roselle can't get it to go. Rebounded by Pitts. And that's an easy two for the big man. Inbounds foul is called on Cameron Irving Miller as McFarland was looking to get the ball out of the zone. The ESF crowd is on their feet behind the right basket. Okie the Acorn is waiting in the wings. McFarland will shoot 1 and 1. He's got the first, 72-61 now underneath the dome roof. This would be a big win for the Mighty Oaks in a building that's addressed to Forestry Drive. 2 for 2. ESF has the 11-point lead. Mighty Oaks has got to keep it clean. Broome needs something quickly. Roselle drives in, leaves it out for Charles, won't go. Pitts is there for the rebound, puts up a 2. That's off glass. ESF controls. It's 20 seconds on the clock, no shot clock. And it looks like this one will just get dribbled out. Nate Recor paces around, and the applaud sound, and everyone is on their feet inside the dome. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. And the Mighty Oaks are winners in the dome. 72-61 the final against Broome. And ESF puts on a second half masterclass to steal this one from the Hornets. Anthony, we said it, this game meant so much for ESF, for the Mighty Oaks. Down by halftime, down at halftime, moved into the second half, and were just lethal. Who do you attribute that to?
I attribute to the coaching adjustments John D'Antonio gave his team. You got to give a lot of credit to this Mighty Oaks team. I'm sure they're much more impressed by coming back from down 10 in the first half and winning this game by 11 than they would say maybe a 30 or 40-point blowout. So it was tough. It wasn't easy for ESF, but Coach John D'Antonio's squad got it done in the biggest game of the season.
It was tough. It wasn't easy, but at the end of the day, when the Mighty Oaks look up, it says 72-61 in their favor. That's going to do it from the Carrier Dome. So the final score here from the Carrier Dome, 72-61 in favor of the Mighty Oaks. And really that foul trouble towards the end of the game really came down to hurt the Hornets. They got into the bonus to start out with, and that really just made the most out of every trip that the Mighty Oaks made to the line towards the end of the game.
That's right. The free throws, free throws win games at the end of contests. Well, they definitely did it here. You got to give a lot of credit to Christian Rossi. 14 points in this one, and the same thing with Reed Patchett. Can you believe he had 17 points? He was very quiet in that first half as these teams are taking pictures for one final time here on the Carrier Dome floor. You got to give a lot of credit to Christian Rossi and Reed Patchett. Those two had an electric second half.
I know, I was going to say, Reed Patchett, you read out his numbers, and it's a sneaky 17 like that. He seemed to be sort of quieter, didn't get all of his baskets in one jump, really spread them out. And, I mean, he's Reed Patchett. He was one of the biggest facilitators of this team, one of the biggest offensive weapons of this team all season. And, hey, he put up 17 in the most important game of the season, was rock solid in defense in that key, and was just a big body that the Mighty Oaks needed.
Another Mighty Oaks scorer is Kieran Heffernan. He also had a quiet second half, and he stormed on and scoring 11 points. But at the end of the day, got to give credit to Jalen Pitts on that SUNY Broome side. Now, the Hornets didn't come out with the win, but this man had 18 boards. I told you before the game started, it's going to be Jalen Pitts versus Reed Patchett down low, and if you're Jalen Pitts, you can walk out of this Carrier Dome floor one final time with your head held high.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all 6'5" of him. He was a huge body for the Hornets. I mean, he was going up one-arm rebounds, anything that was around the restricting circle underneath the rim. It was Pitts' ball. I don't think anybody on the ESF was really challenging him. A great performance, 18 rebounds, and a couple of great putaways for the Hornets. And he kept it close, but at the end of the day, that ESF shooting just too good for the Hornets to keep up with. And an impressive effort nonetheless, though, from number 21 in black, Jalen Pitts.
That's right, Jalen Pitts, absolutely incredible. 19 and 18, like I said before. He shouldn't be too mad at himself for the game he played tonight.
Yeah, absolutely not. But that is going to do it from the Carrier Dome. The final 62, the Mighty Oaks, 63 for SUNY Broome. We want to extend our thanks to Tom Benzel, John DeFrancisco, Dennis Hudson, Tom White, Chris Bakura, and all the amazing people over at CNY Stream and the outstanding people at the Carrier Dome for their assistance with today's game. On behalf of our outstanding production crew and my broadcast partner, Anthony Vasquez, I'm Will Henschel. Thank you for joining us. ESF Mighty Oaks Basketball is a production of ESFTV in association with CNY Stream. The final here from the Carrier Dome, SUNY ESF 72, SUNY Broome 61. Everyone else, have a fantastic rest of your night.